Caesar the Clown. Is he good in set 10? If you don't know what he does, Don times 2, when attacking, you may return up to one of your Punk Hazard type characters with a cost of 2 or more to the owner's hand and kill up to one of your opponent's characters with a 4,000 power or less. So, my matchups were Purple Luffy. This matchup, I just got a really early advantage on the Purple Luffy player. It was basically a snowball effect into my favor. I had everything going for me. He played it super well, in my opinion. However, I was just able to see a lot of early removal, and being able to pop his big bodies with Monet in combination with a lot of reduction was just put me in a super advantage position. Game 2, we go against Kid. Kid just plays Kid. We get rid of the Kid, and yeah, basically he just says, "Oh, that's cool that you got rid of a Kid. Let me just go ahead and play another one." And that's basically how that match went. For game 2, we played against Katakuri. Katakuri basically went ahead and removed everything we had, went super wide, and then ended up just KOing our last life with little to no cards in hand. Game 4 was against another Purple Luffy player, and yeah, we did not see Monet at all. Our hand size is absolutely insane. Didn't see Monet, not in life, not ever. She did not appear to me. She did not, come by my side and assist me in this long Purple Luffy fight, which I almost ended up losing. But ultimately, we went 2-2 in locals today. I honestly think that this deck performed so well. I don't think it was a deck issue. I think it was more of me building it incorrectly. I think this deck needs a lot more reduction. I think this deck has the potential to win a locals, depending on how your locals is designed. If you have a lot of Purple Luffy, I think this matchup was great into Purple Luffy. I'm 2-0 against Purple Luffy players at locals, so I think the deck performs really well into that matchup. So now we're putting somebody else in the driver's seat. Let's see if this deck is good enough to carry a win with a different pilot. So I got my buddy Nate to try and play this deck to the best of his abilities with knowing little to nothing about the deck against a top 64 Bonnie player. This Bonnie player is insanely good. I want to give him all the credit because credit is deserved. This is Crash TCG, an exceptional player. He plays this game competitively and passionately. I would almost say to the same, if not more, to the caliber of how I play the game. And that's why our matches are so head-to-head, and we play with both of our hearts on our sleeves. Honestly, this matchup, I figured would be in Bonnie's favor heavily. Honestly, I think that Nate did an excellent job of piloting the deck for never playing it. He whiffed the Caesar Search in his match, but he still is able to establish like a 7/7 body. He played Beckman earlier in this match and removed the Carrot, which was very good on his part. Carrot is such a threatening card, especially in this matchup because it can basically freeze everything, right? Unless he plays Shanks. But yeah, I think he played insanely well. He ends up being able to out both the Kid and the Tashigi on the following turn. He goes ahead and plays the event here and reduces it by 4,000. So super good play. I think he could have even reduced it more. I think he was just maybe kind of just like feeling out and kind of just like maybe in his mind trying to just rip more cards from his hand, or force a block on the Kid. Honestly, either way, very smart. I don't think there's really an incorrect line. He milked his hand, and he was still able to get the kill. In addition, reducing it even more with Monet, bouncing it back to hand and killing both the Tashigi and the Kid, both in one fell swoop, which was such a great turn from him. Now we get faced with a new issue, which is the 9-cost Zoro, and he didn't see Ain. He goes double Karina to reduce the Zoro, which is minus 4,000 to his 9,000 power, and then gives an additional minus 1,000 with Monet. Absolutely insane play from his part. I was like, oh my god, double Karina into Monet. It just reduces and kills the Zoro, and absolutely just insane play, honestly. He goes ahead and uses Bonnie ability to rest the Bim Beckman, and he still has a 7k swing. So he takes super intense match. He plays Crash, ends up playing another Cavendish into Basil Hawkins with 1 Dawn up. So he's going super defensive here. He has really no other option but to play defensively, because he knows that Nate has such an aggressive standpoint with 3 swings and a lot of reduction, in a wall. So Nate goes 10 here, and then he goes another swing to pop, I'm sorry, no, he doesn't even use the ability to pop the Rosinante blocker. I think that might have been a misplay. And then he gets another swing with 3 Dawn up to maybe bait the event. Crash is going to go ahead and swing 5 into the Monet, and Nate rips his hand, which is insane to me. I would have just let the Monet die, personally. He goes Shanks, pop the Beckman. Super good. And then he's going to give a 7k swing into the Monet again, restanding 2 Dawn, and still is able to save the Monet with a Karina blocker, because he's got 2 of them. Very well done. And yeah, now Crash is sitting with 2 cards in hand. So he just has to math them here, right? He goes 9. Obviously, Crash is thinking on what to rest. He rested the leader, and then that's when Nate decides. I think Nate is deciding whether or not he needs to go for lethal in this situation. I think he just goes for lethal here, right? No, I think he went... I can't remember what he swung into. But somehow another round, another turn happens. He still has Karina blocker and 2 life with 1 card in hand. I think the only card that wins the Bonnie player the game is a Hody Jones, but unfortunately they do not have a Hody Jones. They just wall up with Basil Hawkins and swing a big number into the Caesar the Clown, and then passes it over with 2 cards in hand. Sorry, now he has 2 cards in hand and 3 swings. He has to math this perfectly. So yeah, and then he swings the rest, and that's the game. So here's the list. What's going on, guys? So we're doing something a little bit different here. We're going to interview one of our local game players, Nate. He just finished playing a friendly match with the deck, and he's going to tell us the deck profile and his experience with the deck, and we're just going to talk about it a little bit. So go ahead.
We're on 2 Bad Manners kick course. Am I also explaining why I'm running it, or just?
Yeah, I mean,
0 cost event. Obviously.
Just your thoughts, because this is obviously my build. So what's your thoughts on 2, like the ratio of 2?
So far, I mean, it clutched me at the end with the keeping my Monet alive against the Bonnie attack. So other than that, 2 is kind of good. There's another event in here that I wasn't used to seeing, which I would expect for like King Kong or the Gumball King, whatever. But the 2 of them kind of fits.
Yep.
It feels like a kind of tight list, sort of. So.
It's pretty tight, yeah.
And then, of course, the 4 Otama, the 1-drop -2 counter.
Did you ever hard cast this?
I did once.
You
Once time. Yep.
Just for the neg 2.
Let you set up your bounce effect with Caesar for the KO portion, not the actual bounce, but the 4K helps set it up very cheap.
Yep.
I did not see this card at all.
Yeah.
However, you did play it against me.
Did you want to see more of this card?
I mean, it's a cheaper Otama effect, or it's an Otama effect, I guess.
Yeah.
I think maybe Hongo, because it's a 2K counter,
Okay.
possibly, and it does the same thing.
Yeah. Is Hongo red-haired restricted, or?
I don't know if he's red-haired restricted.
I think this is super good because it can be played into anything, just like the film Guardians. So honestly, the -3 goes a long way, right? Because because you have like a lot of big bodies that you need to reduce, and then
just cheap removal.
Just cheap removal, yeah. So would you consider in the future, like in my list specifically, upping this to like 3 or 4?
I say maybe 3 if I see it like next time. But like the game you played against me earlier, it did do some work by negating.
Right.
So I think maybe more.
Yeah.
To get another cheaper reducing effect like Otama.
Okay.
And then we're on the 4 Virgo Searchers.
You think that's mandatory for the best card in the deck, bro? Yeah.
You are after your Monets heavily in this deck.
Yeah.
Caesar Clown, you can top deck. Smiley, you find Smiley, you're not after anything. Virgo, finding Monet is very important for this list.
Okay.
And then you obviously have the queen of the deck, Queen Monet.
Monet herself. Yeah.
This card will win you any game, I think, or put you in a very advantageous position as Caesar because it allows you to activate her, attach the 2 Dawn for playing her, resting her, and then you can neg 1 on top of having the Caesar effect to bounce her and pop a 4K or less. So any 5K body just immediately goes away on turn 3 if you start setting it up that early.
I think my misplays with this was for obvious reasons, playing her and then assuming that she's gonna survive next turn, bro. That was my worst mistake with this card. People 10 times out of 10, like today, know to kill this card. So it's super early in the meta. I didn't think people were gonna actually respect this card as much, but they hard respect it.
It's used in Smoker too, that's why.
Yeah.
My advice for any Caesar Clown or Smoker player is the turn you play this, you want to be attacking.
Yeah.
Do not play it on a turn that it's just gonna sit there and do nothing. Because if it's just sitting there doing nothing, it's gonna be in the target of being KO.
Okay.
And then we're on 2 10-layer Igloo. This is the event that I figured I'd see most of in this list.
Yep.
3K +3 -2 is pretty good for counter.
Were you playing heavy defense or like?
I was not. I held it in hand for the 0-drop event because it was cheaper and I wanted to go all out to try to clear the board on the body player.
So do you think 2 is okay because this is a super aggressive deck in general? You don't really want to play defensive unless you absolutely have to.
We want to say it's okay. I per se would probably drop one of these to 1. Or no, actually keep these. They're -4.
That's super good. Yeah.
Counter wise, I don't know. I might drop that. No, keep this. I'm used to seeing Rad Beams in the list because you're a 4-life leader. Once you get down to 2, Rad Beam is just a 1-drop 4/4.
Right.
So
the reason why is this is in the list is because it's searchable off Virgo, and the effect is insane, right? Because giving something +3 and then -2, it's kind of nuts.
This one I was really surprised to see, but it helps KO any big body on the board.
Exactly.
AKA 8-drop kids, Cavendishes.
So essentially for 4 Dawn, you're killing almost everything in the game. That's kind of like the idea behind it.
I didn't get to use the second effect in the game
to gain the plus.
gain the power, but getting that -4 on the kid let me just immediately swing into it for 6, and then it was pitch cards.
And at that point, you just felt really comfortable with ripping your opponent's hand and or killing the kid, right? So
it also helps set up the Caesar effect as well with the -4, especially on kid, 8-drop ring kid. Helps set up the Caesar effect because you're just going to immediately go 4. And it's also really good if you combo it with Monet, Gum Gum UFO, and Caesar Clown effect to pop any 9-drop body.
Exactly. The combo is very clean. I'm glad you were able to see those lines when you're playing.
Mocha, I think, is a good 2K Otama effect if you have the Dawn to spare.
Yeah.
If you do not have the Dawn to spare, she's pretty much only going to sit in your hand to be a 2K counter.
Searchable 2K.
Searchable 2K.
I think that's kind of like the standard, right? You want to see all your 2Ks.
I'm very happy with this addition to the list.
Yeah.
I was very. This is a very good 0-drop body, but automatically -2s. And if you keep, on my turn, I play 2 of them to -2 kid pop.
Yeah.
So it's pretty decent for
what
any
you're...
big body matchup, and it's just a free blocker.
Okay.
In
So
the,
you were really happy with
yeah, I
the
was really happy seeing
playability
this.
because you can go defensively and offensively with the card. So that's what makes it so threatening.
They just have to. I think the hardest matchup for this deck might be Blackbeard, depending on what you're using to negate.
Okay.
If you're not using the events and you're trying to use characters, you need to make sure it's like you're not on played.
What do you think about yellow, like Eustace Captain Kid, trashing your life, and just matchups in general?
I mean, the game we played, I was on Katakuri.
Yep.
So that's more of an aggro list. I think just yellow in general, being able to just burn life for free is really like you go 6-drop Robin into the 3 life into Kid the next turn. It's really hard to get around that.
Exactly.
However, even though it's hard to get around that, being able to just pop the characters on your next turn and then still go for face is pretty decent.
Okay.
So it's kind of like you're going 1 for 1. Like you're losing more cards to go for their 1 card, but you're still trading lives.
Okay. Yeah, for sure.
For Sanji, staple in any Punk Hazard deck. 6k body on your turn.
Did this come up? Did you really enjoy?
I played one.
Yep, you played one, and
it drew
then...
me into a second Monet, which was really good.
Yeah, okay, so you used the Onkyo,
yes.
and I feel like I misplayed a lot this tournament, not using the Onkyo effect. So I'm glad you pointed that out for the draw one.
Having this and Caesar specifically is really good because it's just aggro, and you don't care if it dies.
Yeah.
That's how I look at this card. Smoker, it's kind of different because you want it to stick around to have the Dawn on to restand, but in the Caesar build, you're not focused on your Dawn specifically, except for the 2 Dawn that goes on Caesar. But having a 6k body that you can just go 7/7/7 or 6/6/6 on every turn, and if they KO it, they give you a card for sure. You can draw into a 2k or an event that lets you KO something bigger. It's really decent card, and it's definitely going to be a staple in a lot of these builds.
Yeah, absolutely, I agree. This is questionable.
Your list is only on 2 choppers.
I swore I was on 4, but I guess I cut some stuff. I think, honestly, we need to, after we do the list, I think we definitely need to figure out what needs to get cut for 2 additional, because I feel like I was lacking in the 2K department.
Yeah, definitely. I was expecting to see more of these. I searched like 15, 20 cards.
Yeah, I feel like 10 is super clean. Maybe cut 2 Otamas, because you're not really hard casting the Otama, and it's not searchable. So, I mean, I guess there's an argument.
But having the 2K blocker that's a 6K on their turn, like, I was expecting to see more of these. I didn't see a single one the whole game, and I went through 2 Virgos plus a Smiley search.
Yeah, and also you also want more blockers to wall up, so I completely understand
I think for this deck specifically, you're kind of in like a mid-range category. Like, you're able to do amazing things with this deck if you hit the Monet. Like, in my opinion, you want to mulligan for the Monet as much as you can because it allows you to clear the early game board without a problem. They attack you, you pitch a card on your neck, and they play another character that's 5. You can swing at their character for 7, pop their character at 4, and you're clearing the body for 1 swing, and then you still have your characters to swing with as well.
Right.
Pudding is obviously a staple in any blue deck. You know, you got to get rid of them cards out of the hands. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I did not run into her at all. I eventually basically was just swinging into the Bonnie player to just try to get their hand out and get through the blockers.
Okay.
But obviously, pudding is a good 4-drop staple for blue in general.
Do you think it's necessary in this deck, or do you...
I think any blue deck should run it. At 2 is fine. I think it's perfect at 2 because you're gonna hit a deck that's gonna be like, oh, I have this many cards, aka like Piss Kid.
Yeah.
Piss Kid's gonna have a bajillion cards in hand, and you're just gonna be like, okay, pudding. Now they've lost all of their setup going into the next couple turns.
Exactly.
Smiley. I really liked this card. I thought it was neg 4 at first, but it's neg 3.
Yep.
But it's still a 5-drop 6k body that you can still combo in with your leader. So a lot of this deck is trying to get their characters down low enough to pop. And then what is especially good against green decks is if they go Tashigi, if Tashigi's not rested and they have Rosinante, you can swing into their dead body that's tapped and still pop the Tashigi or the Rosinante without either of the effects going off, which is really nice.
Exactly.
So being able to just immediately remove a Tashigi on board is very nice for the setup. We're on the 1 Newgate, did not see it.
It's for the memes.
Yeah.
It honestly needs to be something else.
It's just the SP, you know what I'm saying? It should 100% be another one of these, but we'll talk about that later.
Yeah.
But but obviously SP Newgate in general, you know, one Dawn gets attached to your leader, and then you can just KO a 5 or less, which I still think, like, if you're testing the deck, maybe run a 1-of, because it's still not that bad, because you'll still be able to get most of the 6s or 5s low enough, and if they have protection with the Caesar, like Tashigi or Rosinante, you can make them force the Rosinante or the Tashigi effect, and then still pop with Newgate afterwards.
Exactly.
I did not play this card, but I have seen this card in action.
Yeah. No, you're good.
I'm gonna move that right there. Being able to turn anybody into a 0-drop is beautiful. I believe.
Do you think this needs to be bumped up to 4?
I think 3 is fine, because I think when you're gonna see it is like 10-drop Shanks bodies, kid bodies, and it's gonna be at that time where you're gonna have the extra Dawn to just put it down, put it to 0, swing at it, and go move on with your game.
Okay. Yeah, for sure.
Got the 3 Caesar Clown.
Do you think Caesar the Clown is necessary in the deck?
I think he's necessary in the deck.
Yeah, do you think Caesar the Clown is necessary?
I would say no, because you're not really, like, if they print another Smiley that does something, sure, but you have the one Smiley.
Do you think Smiley alone, just for the reduction?
I think
6?
Smiley's fine at a 5, because it's 5-drop, -3. The Caesar lets you find and put it down, so if you're trying to, like, spam the board on your turn 3, maybe, but, like, I played 1, I whiffed, but he stayed on the board for most of the game.
Yeah.
So it's just a 7k body swing every turn. And then we have the 7-drop Ben, or we have 7-drop Ben Beckman.
Yep.
So
we have 2 Beckman and then 2 Shanks.
Yeah, 2 Beckman, 2 Shanks. Shanks just an endgame body, -1 the board, rush, try to clear out the
Did
game.
either one of these come up in your game?
I had Beckman come up, not Shanks. I was hoping for Shanks on the last turn.
What are your
just because it was in a curve.
What are your thoughts on Beckman and it being what it is? Like, you can trash a 6k power.
I think
in
Beckman
addition
should be at a 4.
Out of 4, yeah.
I think Beckman should be at a 4. Because being able to just -1 Monet or any of your negs effect, and then being able to Beckman afterwards.
You think this should be 4 Beckman?
I think you go 2 Caesar, 4 Beckman, and then the Shanks, and then you gotta find a spot for the choppers.
Yeah. I think, honestly, we could probably go, 4 chopper, and then just cut these 2 guys all together to make a cleaner list. So you have 4 Beckman, 2 Shanks, and then 12 2K counters, and then the rest of the list to do what it does.
I think even with like the Caesar Clown effect, like you find Smiley comes into play. It gives you the -3 on play for free, basically. But like at that point, like you could just Beckman instead to pop the body.
Yeah, 100%. Do you think that round table should be implemented in this list or in this deck, or do you think Ain and all the other reduction does enough early game for it to be? Round table gives minus 10,000 or something.
This card alone is your round table.
Yeah.
And it produces the body, so you don't need to play anything else, because if you already have a filter or something on board, you can literally just bounce it back after negging something to 0, literally any card to 0, and then killing that card.
Yeah.
And this produces the body. This body stays on board the entire time, so there's no need for round tables at all. Like, the only thing you would ever be playing round tables for in the entire deck is literally to hit it off the trigger, and you don't even care about that because you play 4 life anyway, and 9 times out of 10, if they're not taking care of your board, they're going to be swinging your life. You don't care. Like, you just don't care, because the more cards in hand for you, the more cards you're going to be able to use to make stuff and clear their board. You're playing a complete control strategy, so this card, being at 3 and not playing round table, is much better. Whereas this isn't even a brick. It doesn't have any counter, but it's a playable body that already puts something to 0 and gets rid of something. And it sticks on the board.
Exactly. So, what are your thoughts of this deck? Was it, because I had you play a test match. What did you think about your match and how the deck performed?
I think if you don't see Monet, you pretty much are trying to dig to find her or find a way to negate bodies on board. I think other than that, I feel like it just needs a little bit more support.
Okay.
I think if they get like a Smiley that also does a negate, or like an activate main negate as well, I think maybe.
So, if you guys want me to post these matches from today's locals, I want you to leave a heart clowns. And that's all you have to say. Heart clowns. if 10 people say heart clowns, then I'll upload this locals today. Thank you, and I hope you enjoyed.